$10 car washes every weekend, only at Airpark Canterbury.
The Christchurch City Council has been chosen to run a new national one-stop consenting service for large-scale supermarket developments, a move Finance Minister Nicola Willis says will attract new competitors and help drive down grocery prices across New Zealand. And she now joins me. Hello to you.
Great to be on the show, Chris.
Before we discuss Christchurch and supermarkets, the OCR dropped today. I guess it's pretty much what we expected. What's your reaction to that?
Look, it is what we expected, but it's good confirmation that interest rates are now flowing through into the economy and we're seeing a strengthening economy as a result. What was heartening in the Reserve Bank's statement was their forecast that they expect inflation next year to fall, growth to rise, and they are predicting that interest rates remain low. Those are the three basics you need for a strong economy. So I'm heartened by that. It's good news for households.
Well, Retail NZ and various economists are heartened by today's news as well. We'll see if that makes it to other media. Probably not. Let's discuss Christchurch now. Why was the Christchurch City Council selected to lead this national consenting role? I mean, I know that they put a proposal forward first and obviously you said yes. So why are they so good?
Yeah, well, we were looking for an entity that could have the capability to do this nationwide, and we asked for expressions of interest. The Ministry for Business judged those expressions of interest according to 5 criteria. They were capability, timeliness, efficiency, customer focus, and consistency. So they essentially looked at what is the track record of the building consent process at Christchurch Council. How have they done on these sorts of developments in the past? Do we think that they had the chops to do it in the future and do it well? And Christchurch came out top of the pack.
I don't want to put a negative spin on this, but does that suggest the consenting departments are not busy enough?
No, I don't think it's that. It's that there's enough expertise in Christchurch that MB could have confidence that were they to get an application for several supermarkets across the country, they would be able to plug and play that into their existing capability and do that in a way that gave the regulator confidence that they were doing a good job. So I don't think it's that the other councils are terrible. I think it's just that on this one, Christchurch put forward a really good set of proposals.
With the likes of Foodstuffs and Woolworths controlling most of the sector, let's be honest about it, what difference though really should shoppers realistically expect to see at the checkout as a result of this? I mean, it's a nice story, but it's not going to change much in the near future, is it?
Well, where we're coming from is all of the research and evidence tells us that if we had more competition in the New Zealand supermarket sector, we would have lower prices for grocery shoppers. Because at the moment, we've got that big duopoly. And so one of the things that our government has focused on is what's stopping a new entrant coming in and competing with those big guys. And it was clear to us when we asked those in the sector themselves what's getting in the way, that there were a number of regulatory barriers. The resource consents, that's why we've put in the fast-track regime for supermarkets. The building consents. What we were told is that because you had to apply under one set of rules in this part of the country, another set of rules here, up to 66 different sets of rules and processes, that's very daunting to look at if you're an international supermarket thinking about setting up shop here. It just looks like a maze of red tape. So our goal is we'll clear the decks of the red tape. We'll make it as simple as possible. And then what has to happen is a commercial decision that someone wants to set up that competitor, rather than it being that we've already fallen over before the race has started. So we're putting ourselves in best dressed position. We're rolling out the red carpet. We're saying we really, really want you supermarket competitors. And boy, oh boy, we're going to make it easy.
How will this single authority work in practice, though, when developers are building in multiple regions, as you say, with different on-the-ground challenges?
Well, obviously, many of the times they have a standardised design pretty much. So what they have is a particular size, scale, warehouse structure that they like to do. And so what they'll be able to do is put in their kind of basic plan and say, this is essentially what we want to do in these multiple locations across the country. Does that meet the building consent requirements? Christchurch can say, yes, it does, and that can apply across all of the locations. Now, there'll have to be some bespoke features because that one's got an entrance out that way, that one's on a slightly different piece of ground. But instead of rehashing the application all of the aspects of the consent, from the roof to the wall materials to the distance between the fire exits. They can just focus on what are the bits that are actually different so that they can have consistent rules for the rest of it.
In a way, this kind of sounds like a dress rehearsal for the other RMA reforms and regional council issues announced yesterday, isn't it? In a way that we're trying to streamline things and stop the bureaucracy getting in the way of meaningful development.
Absolutely. So our government has listened to New Zealanders who've told us that one of the things that makes life expensive and time-consuming in this country is that getting permission from your council to do things, whether that's get a resource consent to extend your kitchen, whether that's getting a building consent to build a new supermarket, it just takes too long in this country. It's too expensive. It's too uncertain. So we've got multiple reforms happening to fix that. As we announced yesterday, we're going to clean up the duplicate layers of local government and simplify that whole regional government system. We'll soon be making announcements about controls on the rates that councils charge ratepayers who have really been beaten in recent times by very high rate rises in many parts of the country. And then the third bit is saying, look, we're completely getting rid of the Resource Management Act. It's broken. It's cost this country economically. We are leaving growth on the table because it so constrains our ability to use our natural resources in our land. And it's making life far too expensive for businesses, but also for mums and dads just wanting to do sensible things in their own backyard.
I want to back you up on something about the rate caps policy. That'll be music to the ears of many ratepayers in this city. When can we expect an announcement from the government on that? This side of Christmas or next year?
This side of Christmas. It'll be a little pre-Christmas treat for everyone. Look, our feedback has been really clear. When we ask people what are the cost of living pressures that are really fighting for you, look, food prices, grocery prices are a big one. That's why we're pushing that program of reform. But rates comes up again and again. And our view has been, sure, yes, we want councils building infrastructure, but we are not convinced that there's currently enough control on how councils are expanding their spending and then just sending ratepayers ever bigger bills. And so we've been hard at work looking at how we can create a bit more confidence for ratepayers that they're going to get more value in the future.
That's good news. My only bit of advice, Minister, would be keep an eye on that consenting department. They don't like car parks, so make sure that you keep an eye on that situation.
Yeah, well, look, that's
great advice.
Consent issue that absolutely has been part of the consideration as we've been putting through those replacements to the Resource Management Act. It's all of those things. And the basic principle that we've agreed to as a government is private property rights is where you start. And so if people have land and they wish to develop it in a certain way, we need to be very careful before the government comes and puts so much red tape in the way that they can't do that.
All right. That advice is free, by the way. I won't invoice you. Finance Minister Nicola Willis, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thanks, Chris.